I like jengkol, right? And if Indonesian find out about it, everyone start laughing, they think it's amazing because not many people know what this food is, right? So I think through food also you can actually connect much easier to people than just with words.
Okay, gentlemen, Indonesia is known to be very sopan santun, filled with politeness. The Indonesians have a reputation of being polite people. So what would you suggest if I have an incoming expat, they need to know some degree of etiquette? What are some of the things that they for sure should know about?
Boy, you want to start with this?
I think if let's say you have a helper at home, I think that's a very common thing for German. I would say for Germans, that you would find it rude if you don't invite your helpers to dine together with you. I think that's in Germany. If that's your helper, you will have dinner and lunch and everything together. And I remember some of them also were forcing the housekeeper to have dinner with them. I think I don't do that. I mean, like, they prefer to have it their own way, and I think you can explain that better, but I think that's one of the first things that you have to learn, that there is a difference.
People have positions.
Yes.
People have positions, and it's okay.
On one hand, the expatriate wants to show solidarity, of course, we are the same. And the other one may say, so you want to intimidate us.
Right.
So they might feel intimidated by that,
Right.
But
Please go ahead. What are some basic etiquettes that expats should be aware of when they first arrive?
Okay, the politeness issue. Okay, I think in Indonesia, unfortunately, I don't know whether this is because of so-called modernizations or whatnot. I don't see the Indonesians, especially those that living in the big cities, they still have the same politeness. Okay, I might get in trouble for saying this, but this is the reality. Okay, so we used to be known as the smiling society. Yes, so we used to open the door for our elderly. This is simple stuff. Okay, I encourage you or the viewers to see how many times you see now in Indonesia, in Jakarta especially, in big cities, that you will have someone open the door and hold it for you. And then once that person passes, say, hey, thank you for holding the door, or in the elevator. Okay, so see the changes. So it's not like we're like that all the time. We change over time. We change all kinds of factors, reasons why we change. Right. So this is typical classical example. We say this to the Western people when they come here. Expect Indonesian to be nice, and they come to Jakarta and they say, "Oh, they're rude. They didn't open my door. They didn't say thank you." And then they're, because they are afraid of you, intimidated, they don't want to see you when you talk. And you keep trying to find their eyes, and they keep hiding their eyes. And then they thought that they're rude. They're not, when they talk to me, they don't look at me. And the other one said they're not very good people because they're screaming and they try to look me in the eye and feel intimidated. Yeah. So there is a danger in making this stereotypes, and I think again, just ask, be honest, ask, and is that okay if I call you by your first name? That's a simple question. Or some people here would, why didn't you call me by my last name? That's fine too, And this happens a lot and usually, the expats can ask the driver, is it okay if you eat with us? And if you want to eat with us, it is okay too. But if you prefer by yourself, that's fine too. Again, communication, openness, trust, honesty, willingness to do change, all that stuff easier said than done again, but yeah, that will help.
When we talk about socializing, different countries socialize differently. Whereas the Western family may feel comfortable inviting guests into their home and entertaining, cooking for that guest, and preparing meals or food for that guest. Whereas Indonesia, that's probably not what's going to happen. Patrice, maybe you can explain what's going on when socializing or who you socialize with is not what many expats are expecting. What's the undercurrents that's going on here?
Okay. When the expatriates think that the Indonesians is not very open with inviting them into their house. Well, the Indonesians, when they're in America, but around the West, they complain. I mean, they have an issue with the Americans or the Europeans or say to them, hey, we should get together sometimes, you should come to our house. But they don't really mean it. They just want to be friendly. So there are two sides of this. I think in the past, yeah, again, the culture also changes and then evolve because of, over time, we change. In the past, I experienced that my parents invite guests, foreigners, locals to come to the house. My mother will cook, prepare the meals for the dinner, for whatever. And that's just normal. And then we exchange, sometimes we will get invited back, etc. Well, now in this modern time, nobody does that anymore. They don't cook at home and invite guests. They just meet at the restaurant, and say, okay, we'll meet at that restaurant at this time, we'll have dinner there.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the pop culture. So we go do that. So I think we should preserve that. I think every country, every culture should be more open to that, regardless whether you have a small house, big house, doesn't matter.
But is it because of worrying in exposing social status, or is it just a matter of convenience?
That's probably too. Both are correct. In some instance, it's that it's afraid of exposing the status, the social status, and usually before we get invited, say we do not care where, we just want to learn how you live. I mean, when I travel in Indonesia to the remote islands, for example, and I say, hey, I want to go eat where do you want to eat, Pa? There's this restaurant there, and I say, no, I want to eat at your place. Do your wife cook or you cook or what? Oh yeah, my mother cook. Well, and then let's just go there.
Yeah.
Then and they're surprised by it in the beginning, and they're like, you sure about this? But then I make sure that that I showed them that I'm comfortable with that idea. It's okay for me to come, no judgment. I just want to eat good food and be with good people and have a conversation. That's all I want.
Yeah.
And once that established, I think it's easier. So yeah, that is a factor in which they feel like, oh no, I don't want you to see where I live. Now the other one is also true, right?
The Indonesian coming to the expat home. What's going on there?
The Indonesian coming to the expat home, I don't see very much a problem there, but other than menu. Okay?
Yes.
So if the Indonesian knows there will be food there that is okay for them, then yes, they have more tendency to come. But no, then that can be an issue.
Of course.
So yeah, so again, openness in communication and communicating with the host should communicate to the people that got invited. Say, we are going to prepare this. Are you okay with this?
Okay.
And if you have something that you would like to share with us, please feel free to come and bring the food. It's okay to bring your food. Indonesians sometimes like to bring food,
Of course.
wherever they're being invited to. whatever that is, be. So I think, again, communication, openness, no judgment, right? So just ask, it's okay. And that's what we usually do. And it works, But the other one, Indonesian to Indonesian, sometimes they just say, oh, let's just go to the, restaurant. I'm not a fan of it, but it happens a lot, and I can understand it. I can understand the reason. But I see a lot of Indonesians now have a very beautiful houses, beautiful kitchen, beautiful, and sometimes they started to learn how to cook and all that, right? Why not? I mean, why not, right? Why not? And I truly believe we should encourage more and more of that house dining.
Agreed. So some expats come into Indonesia and they want the total Indonesian experience. They don't want to associate with the expat communities. I just want Indonesian friends. I just want to experience Indonesia. While as others try to recreate their foreign lifestyle in Indonesia, which also creates problems. So how do you balance that? Yes, I'm in Indonesia and I want to experience Indonesia, but at the same time, I still have, of course, foreign values, foreign comfort zones. Where do we find the sweet spot?
Jeremy may have experience with this.
Cool. I mean, like I lived between both cultures my whole life, right? So born in Germany as an Indonesian, but then now living in Indonesia as a German. No, I caught myself also sometimes to have stereotypes that I put on people, right? And for me, it was really the training that helped me back in the days. Yeah. So in that training, we did exercises, and that's where I really connected to those locals. Where I had exercises where I really felt like he's my brother, my sister. Like, I don't know how to explain it. But I think it was really that training that helped me in that time.
But at the bottom line, it's where you feel comfortable, what works for you, right? Where is how much exposure do you want? But at the same time, you need to be comfortable in your lifestyle as well, correct?
Yes.
I think for me, it's just have your own thermostat in which you gauge yourself, right? Like you said, are you still comfortable with this and going this way and going that way? Because there is this norm, right? The standard thing, and you go right, go left, and then you make this thermostat say, okay, if we're within my tolerance level, I'm good. But just be ready for the differences, okay? Either left or right, just be ready for the differences. Again, with having a suspension of judgment, right? And ready to change, and then openness, trust, and all that, right? So I think how do you I encourage people experience the local, the host country traditions, culture, experience with all the grain, with everything, with whatever, no judgment, just okay, different way of doing things, right? And then it's okay also for you to go back and say, now I'm going to go home and enjoy my, my Western culture, Western music and whatever. And this is how you live. I encourage people to do that. You can live happily in both five. You don't have to be one or another. The ability to switch is what we're aiming for, and just go here and there.
Yeah.
Enrich yourself with the knowledge that, oh, wow, that's how they do their things. And oh, wow, those people do it this way. Enrich yourself with the knowledge of how different people in different parts of the world do things differently. That is okay.
It would,
nothing wrong.
Yeah, it would be such a shame for you to be posted in Indonesia and not experience anything in Indonesia.
Right.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that you have to forgo everything that you learn about your culture,
But for me also, like to connect with Indonesians, I think for me it was one of my trick was jengkol. Yeah, I mean when I tried and eat jengkol, but I like jengkol, right? And if Indonesian find out about it, everyone start laughing. They think it's amazing, because not many people know what this food is, right? So I think through food also you can actually connect much easier to people than just with words. Yeah? But then if they found out, it's all those stinky food, I like it. Yeah, they have something to do, and they will also right away pull other people. Hey, he likes jengkol. Like it's something they love hearing actually.
A commonality that you share.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Wonderful. Okay, so some expats, when they're accept a position in Indonesia, some of them get the luxury of having a look-see visit, and so they have an idea about the situation either before they sign the contract or after they signed it as to what the lifestyle is going to be like. But then there's others that have just said yes to the relocation and they relocate immediately. So most of them will experience some type of culture shock. How do you bridge that transition?